Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We are the Rochester Press Box, Bill Pucko, and to my left, Tariq Spence. Hey, Tariq, how you doing, man?
Happy to be back talking sports that still hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and Kevin Oklobzija is substituting for Pat Duffy today. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
Hey, look, baseball season starts this week. Thursday, we got the first game, the Yankees and the Nationals. Do you find yourself looking forward to this, Kevin?
I don't know what people who don't like sports, what do they do? Really, what do they do every night? I don't need to see sports all the time, but I do like it quite often. I had 700 channels on my TV through Spectrum. I want to watch 3 of them, it seems. Thank goodness for Law and Order reruns. But yeah, I'm anxious to watch baseball. I almost watched the MLS, so almost.
I love being with a guy who admits. I love being with a guy who admits that he has no life outside of watching sports.
Well, all the time. I don't need it all the time, but I do. Do people I'm saying that lives in Kansas? No! Somebody that hit the ball 450 feet.
It's interesting. With all the sports that have gone on, I've been very handy around the house. That's what I've been doing, fixing stuff around the house for the last couple of days. But, I don't know about you, seeing some of the inter-squad games that baseball has done so far, some of the MLS games, I'm not sure what TV is going to have to do. They got to do something about no audience. Like put some ad space out there, do something. It's just bizarre to be able to hear everything and no crowd noise, no reaction. I'm not sure what baseball can do. NBA is going to have the same sort of problem. I mean, what are you going to do? Pipe in the hype noise from the bench or whatever it's going to be. I'm happy to see it back, but it's going to be tough to get used to.
It's funny you bring that up because I think it's a positive. And I'm looking forward to seeing it in baseball. Is some of these conversations, some of the minutia and the things that take place on the field that we otherwise never have access to for this little period of time. The interactions and stuff. We're going to hear and see this stuff, Tariq.
It's a good thing the Astros scandal happened when it did, because there'd be some guy banging a garbage can and people would be going, what in the world is going on? Like everybody would hear it this now, so at least that broke.
Yeah, good luck stealing signs now. It's going to be literally every camera is going to be on every player because that's how many cameras they're going to have going forward. I agree. I mean, I like the fact that I can hear what the players are doing, what's going on, the instant reaction. I get all that. It's just the emptiness. We're in a stadium that fits how many thousands of people, and there's maybe 200 people in that stadium now with players and staff and media. And it's just, I don't know. It's going to be tough to get used to. Imagine that in an NFL stadium.
Kevin, we've talked about this before. But I think it's a case of less is more, and we go back to that NHL 50-game season where every game mattered. I think a 60-game Major League Baseball season is fascinating in how important each game is going to be.
I watched some of the Korean baseball back on that stadium point, and it is weird. I mean, a guy hits the ball out of the ballpark, and you hear virtually nothing. Maybe some chatter from the dugout, but that's about it. So that is an odd thing to get used to, where something dramatic happens in the game, and you really don't hear. You're not hearing what you're used to hearing that says this is a dramatic moment. But yeah, the 60-game season, and again, if a guy gets hurt, Aaron Judge is hurt now. I mean, the Yankees have injuries, so every team seems to have that. A guy gets hurt, misses a third of the season or a quarter of the season, it might derail anyone's hopes for making the playoffs.
Yeah, and last thing, Tariq, we have 2 examples that are right there in our face. The Washington Nationals in 19-31 through 50 games last year, won it all. And the St. Louis Blues in the NHL, a significant chunk of the season into it, they were the worst team in the league. They win the Stanley Cup. So this matters, don't you think?
Streaks, too. Baseball is a streaky game. I mean, you catch a hot player for 50 games. I mean, how many times have we given out MVP trophies at the All-Star game in previous seasons? And then next thing you know, they fall off the face of the earth and have a terrible second half of the season. You could have, if you're an early starter, an early pitcher, an early hitter, a great season all the way through to a championship. But if you're a slow starter, I mean, you better get it right very quickly. You'll see yourself on the bench, and your average in career could go down.
Yeah, and it's really
I just
too bad
see
the
so many
Yankees are
injuries
injured.
because of this. The training period has been so, it's shortened, crazy, interrupted. So I think they're going to go through players on the roster very quickly. And a guy like Ernie Clement from Brighton might end up in the Indians lineup. He's on their 40-man. He's part of that, taxi squad. Teams might get that deep, especially when it comes to pitchers.
We are the Rochester Press Box, and we're talking Buffalo Bills next.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay and Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Can you believe it's been almost 20 years and they still haven't replaced you?
Yeah, you believe
as
that?
a quarterback? The Packers replaced Favre overnight. The Niners replaced Montana with Young.
Yeah, bums you out. It does, because we've made so many bad decisions on the quarterback position over the years.
Yeah.
But I really do think if Tyrod stays healthy, he's our next quarterback for the future. I really do. I've seen him, I've talked to him, I've watched him. I know what he's capable of doing. To be honest with you, I was praying that EJ would be the guy. I don't know. Time will only tell, but I like what I saw out of Tyrod.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us on the Rochester Press Box. Tariq, let's talk a little Buffalo Bills. The Madden ratings came out this week. There were some noteworthy things involving the Buffalo Bills, don't you think?
Well, the biggest noteworthy is how strong a quarterback's arm is. I mean, Josh Allen's got a great arm, and this goes into this debate on whether arm strength really results in how good a quarterback is going to play. But he's got the highest rating. I think he's 99. I think he might even be better than Pat Mahomes, who's got $500 million from his arm. So this is interesting for a game aspect. For people that don't understand it, they believe his arm is better than any other arm in the NFL as far as strength goes. I'm not sure about accuracy. So if he's accurate as well as strong, we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, he's got the weapons now that the Buffalo Bills have been waiting for offensively. So we'll wait and see if Madden is right. But don't they play these like fake Madden games to see who wins the Super Bowl? And it's right like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and they get people to watch people playing them. That's the thing that's pretty fascinating. Kevin,
again, another reason we need sports to start.
This sounds like combine numbers, like in the end, I mean, does the ability to throw a football through a brick wall make a difference into how well you're going to play?
It does if you don't get it over the line of scrimmage, I guess. So maybe you'll throw it through the defender's hands instead of having him intercepted. It comes down to accuracy. So, the arm strength is great. He does have guys that can get deep now. I'm excited to see what Diggs can do, assuming Diggs plays, with Josh Allen and see what they can do. There hasn't been this kind of hype for the Bills in a long time, and it's kind of fun to see because it's actually justified finally.
Yeah, they look good. I mean, offensively, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch with all their weapons that are going for. Defensively, we all know that team is built for defense and has been built every single year. I guess the highest thing that I can hope for a Bills fan, and I know Duffy's sitting there listening, is the AFC Championship game. I think that if they get to the AFC Championship game, it's a successful season. Hopefully, it isn't against the Baltimore Ravens or it isn't against the team like the Kansas City Chiefs. But if they get to the AFC Championship game, that's where you have to get to right now. The Patriots are down. They still haven't announced that Cam Newton's going to be a starting quarterback. They think Stidham might be the starting quarterback. You still have a young quarterback in New York and the Jets, and you have basically a rookie quarterback in Miami. Now is the season. This is the season, if they play, for the Bills to go as far as they can, AFC Championship or bust.
Yeah.
Do you really see the Bills getting past Baltimore or KC before the AFC Championship game, though? Because they're going to play one of them. There's no way those teams are.
I think they're gonna play one of them, but they have to beat one of them, and that's going to be still a lot to prove in Baltimore. Remember, Jackson, great quarterback, but still hasn't won a playoff game himself. So
Vegas has them favored in every game.
Yeah, they're expected to go 16-0, but once again, that's why they play the games.
Correct. Yeah, and then the toughest nut to crack is going to be those Western Division teams. Bills have got 8 games against the teams out west. I think you've got to try to split those, and then maybe you've got something, don't you think, Kevin?
Yes, I mean, and that comes into travel and all those types of things. So they, let's just hope they are able to play a 16-game season.
We are the Rochester Press Box. Like it or not, is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Here's the Press Box trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Kevin, is there a thing called the Woj bomb? Wojnarowski, NBA reporter for ESPN.
There's a new meaning now.
Yeah, it's usually like he's always breaking stories. They call him Woj bombs. Well, he dropped what could be defined as another Woj bomb on a Missouri senator this week. Like it or not?
Well, it's probably something you really don't do to a U.S. senator. I mean, you may not like the opinion, the viewpoint. Maybe if you're in person, you can say what you want if you know the guy. But, yeah, that was a mistake. He owned up to it. It's hard to actually believe someone could maybe even think the email was real. Like maybe he thought it was some spam or fake. I don't know, but how do you? I don't know how you throw an F-bomb at a U.S. senator through email. Craziness, but the NBA has its back. It's amazing the players that are tweeting his support, free Woj and everything. When LeBron's behind you, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Well,
especially with the LeBron network.
You got caught up emotionally. You catch somebody at a specific time with a question that's ridiculous, and that's going to come out. Like, sending it back is crazy. I'm surprised the senator actually put it out there. Like, you put it out there that this is what he said back to you. So imagine.
It's an email. You had to type it. I get it if he said it in the passion of the moment in an argument or in person, but you had to type it and hit send. I mean, it's just that one. I don't know.
I guess he really meant it. So, oh well.
And that's probably that's the biggest point here. He had to have meant it.
It's a career definer. Hey, Tariq, like it or not, we've got the Ivy League and the Patriot League. These sort of we used to call 1AA college division football teams. They're going to spring football. Do you like that or not?
I love it. I think it's a great idea. I think I understand the circumstances that they're in. Look at the decisions that these colleges have to make going forward. They are on pins and needles about fall right now. Now, for a number of people out there, I can't stand this. I need my college football. You're not going to get it. The institutions have to protect the students. They have to protect the staff. I get it. It's a lot of money. We're talking a lot of revenue that is brought in from college sports, but it's just not going to happen. I'd be happy if they just had college basketball for the March Madness tournament going forward. But there's a possibility there might not be a tournament because there might not be a regular season because that's mostly indoors. So we have to accept the fact that college might have to move everything until 2021 spring football, where we can know more about this virus, hopefully have some sort of vaccine so we don't have to deal with it and be in better shape. But past that, this is the right move to make, and I feel terrible for anybody in sports where jobs may be on the line because they don't know what's going to happen with this virus.
And the key in this move, I think, is the fact that the Ivy League was the first to cancel their basketball tournament. I mean, welcome to the photobombing by a cat.
That is awesome.
But honestly, the Ivy League canceled first in basketball. No one else was thinking cancellation of the NCAA tournament or anything else. All of a sudden, the Ivy League says, "Yeah, we're done." So these are kind of smart people.
Yeah, I think the bigger schools can't do it, and it's mostly because of the NFL concerns. I think like the Southeast Conference, Big Ten, Pac-10, these conferences need to get their seasons in because these guys are all looking ahead to the pros. That's why it's the Ivy and the Patriot League. They don't have as much at stake to move the football season to the spring.
That's an interesting point because how many guys wouldn't play knowing they're going to the NFL and wouldn't want to risk getting hurt in the spring when the draft is coming up?
Yeah, Tariq, quick like it or not, we got the Washington Redskins officially changing their name to who knows what. Hopefully it's better. But I imagine we like this, right?
Oh, no, I like it. What I'm struggling with is actually which name they're going to pick. I've heard Red Wolves, Red Tails, Renegades, Generals. Does anybody like the name that they're going to change? I guess Red Wolves has the best odds to win behind Red Tails, but
it's odd to me that they, some people have proposed Americans. It's odd that they don't go with that.
Yeah, that's also in the running, but I believe that's like 4th or 5th, if not.
It doesn't fit their color scheme necessarily, so maybe that's a reason why not. But
when I saw the Generals, I couldn't believe the Generals. I mean, everyone knows the Washington Generals as the team that always played the victim to the Harlem Globetrotters. How could you even consider that?
I don't think it's going to make it, but yeah, you can bet on it if you want to. That's one thing you can bet on, the name of the Redskins team.
All right. We are the Rochester Press Box. Unfinished Business is next.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Kevin, where'd the cat go?
So she goes wherever she wants. That's pretty obvious.
Go ahead.
Baseball is back. Thank goodness. As I mentioned earlier, I don't know what people do night after night after night if you're going to watch TV. Again, I don't care if somebody can sing, play the piano. America's Got Talent, good for them. I want to see America's talent on the baseball field. And Canada's and Puerto Rico's. That's fine. Thank goodness baseball's back. Other sports will follow. I don't quite understand the NFL or the NHL play in August to finish a season that's been disrupted and nobody cares about it anymore. But yes, baseball's back, and I can't wait.
For the NFL, they better take notes as to how baseball is coming back. Basically, with no one there, what are you going to plan to do? Earlier this week, the Philadelphia Eagles and basically the city of Philadelphia said there's going to be no fans at all, which means that every time a football goes up in the air, there's going to be nothing but empty seats there to catch that viewership. I guess you could put some advertising there or maybe some social media message or some social message of consciousness. That would be the smart play to move. But to understand that there isn't going to be a crowd roaring when there's a great play. There isn't going to be anybody really going crazy during commercial breaks. I'm not even sure if they're going to have cheerleaders or anything else that's going on at stadiums. Just understand that I'm happy to see baseball back. I'm happy to see MLS back. I'm happy to see hockey back and basketball back. But just understand there's a weird feeling when there's really no reaction from the fans. But sports will be back. And yes, you can stop binge watching your TV shows.
We are used to the playbook of sports in the year 2020. No crowds in the stands, virus prevention, the bubble, the hub spots for hockey. These are all things that are playing right into sports these days. Make some of the $1 million that you were going to lose anyway on this kind of a season back. But what if this all doesn't work? What if the virus really does get the better of the athletes who are attempting to play the games? What if the politics trumps the medical advice? What if the CDC is right and this thing is really going to get worse in this winter and fall? What if? What then? Well, this is about more than the games, their outcomes, and crowning a champion. This is about us getting back on our feet. This is about us reclaiming our lives. There's nothing even less at stake here than taking a stand for who we are. This needs to work. That is Unfinished Business, and that is our program. Guys, thank you very much.
Hopefully it will work, Bill. We'll find out in the next
baseball
couple of days.
This week. Kevin, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Good being here.
Thank you for joining us. See you next week with the Rochester Press Box.